Hey everyone, I should probably start this video by apologizing for my unprofessionally green blanket. But it's a little bit on the chilly side where I am, and so it's either wear a blankie like a little 3-year-old or spend the whole entire video with my teeth chattering. I figured that this rather bright green blanket would be the less offensive of the options there. So with that said and taken care of and out of the way, back on February 26th, we talked about how to handle feedback from an editor. So we are not going to repeat that information so soon, even though step number 7 of the getting to the publishable point process is to send your manuscript to a professional editor. Not just any professional, though. You want your professional editor, someone who's affordable, reliable, and respectful of your wishes concerning your manuscript. At the risk of offending other editors, some of my colleagues just are not one or all of those qualities that you need to look for. Or maybe they're a great match for someone else, but not for you. So let's go over each and every one of those three key factors in finding a fiction or nonfiction manuscript editor who fits your needs. Number one, affordable. You may very well have no idea how expensive an editor can truly be. We're talking $2,000 to $4,000 for a professional to read over even a perfectly healthy manuscript. On the one hand, that's pretty steep considering how you might not be able to recoup any of that in book sales after you're published. On the other hand, some people genuinely feel as if they get better quality paying that much. Now, that's not always true, but it's not always untrue either. And I would sincerely caution you against hiring an editor who charges less than $20 an hour or even $20 an hour, unless you already know them and respect their work. Why? Well, that's because when we are not properly compensated for our efforts, abilities, and education, and by we, I mean all of us, humankind, we have the tendency to put in less effort than if we got paid what we're worth. It's just part of being human. Personally, I charge $25 an hour. Some people can't afford that. Others think it's suspiciously low. And either way of looking at it is fine when it comes down to a personal decision that should be based on two questions that have nothing to do with my feelings or my prices. You should ask yourself before you hire an editor, what amount can you afford and what amount are you comfortable with? After you've considered those, then you move on to number 2 on the list, reliable. Not every editor is going to catch what you want them to catch on the time schedule you've given them. They might just focus on spelling and grammar when you've asked them to make sure that the plot or theme stays strong from start to finish. Or they might take longer than your agreed upon time when you're on a deadline, self imposed or not. Those are both problems, so here are some pointers to avoid them. If you're paying less than $20 an hour, you're probably going to just get a copy editor or proofreader. In other words, someone who just looks for spelling and grammar. That's it. Unless you truly trust a person, ask for a contract that specifies what your chosen editor is working on and over what period of time. A good contract is designed to protect both parties, of course, so there is going to be language in there too for the editor's benefit. But you'll be much better assured of not being swindled for that legal language. Number 3, respectful. To me, this is the biggest issue when it comes to hiring an editor. Put bluntly, editors have a bad habit of being rather pushy with their opinions, putting themselves up on a pedestal that replaces the actual author's role of being in charge of his or her manuscript. And that is unacceptable. When it comes to properly preparing a manuscript for publication, you should be the boss, you being the author. You should have the authority over how your book to be reads. Yes, editors are supposed to know more grammatical rules than you do. And yes, they're trained to notice mistakes you don't notice. And they're being paid to strengthen your book to be. But, and this is a very important but, they are not the end all and be all of your manuscript. You're still a step above them in the process, so do not let an editor boss you around and avoid an editor who seems like he or she wants to boss you around. To make sure that your editor is affordable, reliable, and respectful, ask them as many questions as you want before you sign them on board. Ask them what their process is and what they look for. Tell them what you're looking for out of this professional relationship. And if you feel at all uncomfortable with their answers at any point during that vetting stage, feel free to walk away. You do not owe them anything until you actually sign that contract. This is your book, baby. As my fellow author and friend Leah Mack would put it, you're this book, this manuscript's parent, and whatever editor you choose should abide by that fact. All right, I hope this helps you all with your editorial choices, and I will see you all next week. All right, bye.